Today is the 35th anniversary of the TTTS Foundation and World TTTS Awareness Day. My name is Terri Ann, and I'm the prayer coordinator for the TTTS Foundation. 22 years ago, my husband and I were expecting our first pregnancy, and were told by our OBGYN that we were having identical twins, and it was absolutely incredible and a miracle. I was 42 years old. We were married at 40, and it was a blessing beyond belief, and all of my prayers were answered. Uh, upon our doctor following us for our pregnancy, he recommended that I go to a maternal fetal medicine practice in our area to be checked because our identical twins had a thin dividing line between the membranes and one placenta. So we went there, all hopes and aspirations and excitement, just elated to see our babies again on an ultrasound. But at that visit, everything changed. After the scans, the doctor came in with 2 or 3 other people, a few nurses and other doctors, to explain to my husband and I that we had a condition called twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, and it was very serious, and if we could meet them in the conference room. So we went in there and sat down and spoke to the doctors, and they explained what twin-to-twin transfusion was and how dangerous it was, and they gave us a few options at that moment. And one was to terminate our pregnancy entirely or select one baby to be terminated so the other could survive, or do some therapeutic procedures reducing amniotic fluid from one, until we could make a decision. We completely were devastated, said no immediately to terminating our pregnancy or selecting one to terminate. We didn't want to proceed with any procedures that day because we were unsure of what the condition even was. We needed more information. But I can tell you, I felt devastated and hopeless, and I wrapped my arms around my stomach to just hold and protect my babies. My husband stood behind me and held me, and we just didn't want to let go. We felt just instinctively wanting to protect our children. And at that visit, a nurse handed me a business card with the name of a local woman who was connected to the Twin-to-Twin Transfusion Syndrome Foundation. And I held on to that card as though it was a lifeline to someone who might understand and be able to give us some more information. We went home. I was trying to not let the words that they said penetrate to my soul, but they did, and it stung and it hurt, and all I wanted was to protect my babies. I called the woman on the business card, and she was an angel, and she had twins that were now 12 years old, and they survived TTTS, and she recommended that I call Mary from the Twin-to-Twin Transfusion Syndrome Foundation. This was on a weekend. I called, and to my amazement, Mary answered. Her voice was pure hope, pure love. She was an angel, filled with compassion. She talked, she cried with me. She was just amazing. And she promised that there was hope and education and a way to treat and handle and help guide through twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. On the very next business day, a package came in the mail, a huge booklet from the Twin-to-Twin Transfusion Syndrome Foundation with a letter from Mary, and also the name of Dr. Julian D'Elia. I held on to that book. I read Mary's letter over and over again, read the books and pamphlets from one end to the other to educate myself about this condition and this disease. And my fears and desperation turned into hope and promise, and I felt as though I could do something to help my babies who were so desperately loved and wanted and cherished. Uh, Through the foundation, I was able to find out what questions to ask, what to look for, and how to analyze the information from our doctor appointments, what procedures would work best, surgery options. And Dr. Dalia and Mary, they called me. They called my house. They talked to us weekly. Dr. Dalia even talked to my maternal fetal medicine specialist in our area and guided my care. It was very complicated. It was very terrifying. But by the grace of God and prayers that poured in from people that I didn't even know knew about us and our situation. Emails were coming in from people that were praying for us. I was in awe. Those prayers were my strength. Mary's love was my strength, and Dr. Dalia's expertise and knowledge for twin-to-twin and his care, it is what saved my babies. It was not a perfect pregnancy, but my daughters were born prematurely on the first day of 28 weeks, each weighing 2 pounds. They were alive. It was a miracle. That's all we kept hoping and praying for. And they went through NICU, all the while still connected and communicating with Mary and Dr. Dalia. And then there was NICU support. And after NICU support, there was a coordinator to help with special needs. And my life, just from that moment at 19 weeks of my pregnancy, I was connected intimately with the Twin-to-Twin Transfusion Syndrome Foundation. When my daughters were a little older, around 1.5, I had an opportunity to go to my first event that was to raise awareness for twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. And it was about an 1.5 hours away, but I would have driven 12 hours. I would have flown anywhere because Dr. Dalia and Mary were there. And I had a chance to finally meet them in person. And they could see my daughters, Adriana and Sophia, who they helped selflessly and compassionately and just without fail poured themselves into our family to help us endure twin-to-twin. As the years passed, Mary asked me if I would be the prayer request coordinator for the foundation, and I was deeply humbled and honored. I just wanted to give back and pray for everyone and every mother, every family that endures twin-to-twin. Humbly, we pray. It's miraculous how God assembles people from all over the world when a prayer request comes in. We have prayer partners that are all around the globe. And they reach out to people in their community and their churches, their friends, other families, many, many families that have endured twin-to-twin or have friends that have endured twin-to-twin are prayer partners. But there are so many people, different churches all around the world, everyone who believes in God, no matter where they live, what country they're from, what they believe in God, and they pray and pray for you. You are not alone. When a prayer comes in, we pray and continue to pray, and just follow through and lift our voices on your behalf. We want you to know that every year on December 7th, we light a candle at 5:10 p.m. in all time zones and 5:15 p.m. in all time zones to honor and remember your babies. And we are praying for you, and we want you to know that you're not alone. We're here and we love you.